I'm going to teach you guys a secret hack when it comes to losing fat, having more energy, boosting your confidence, and nonetheless, this is going to help you out in all areas of your life. Now, the secret is, because I don't want to ramble on and, clickbait you, have some kids. Now, let me explain, okay? So I'm getting ready for my High Rocks event. Now, High Rocks is one of the hardest fitness events there is, and I'm a few weeks out. My son and I, we have been training together. He is my training partner, and I absolutely love it. So typically, I'll hit the mornings with, my actual training partner, doing the strength training, doing our High Rocks workouts. But in the afternoons, me and my son, we like to enjoy quality time together. And what do we like to do? Well, it might be hitting the heavy bag, right? Working on some boxing, might be doing some push-ups, might be doing some, burpees, sit-ups, anything like that. We like to be very active. We like to wrestle, I'm 33 years old. He's 6 years old. And hopefully we can continue on this amazing father-son relationship until, he's in his 20s and his 30s. Like, that's my goal, honestly, is to always beat him in basketball, always beat him in a push-up competition. I literally want to be in my 60s, my 70s, still smoking the kid, right, when it comes to sports. That's my goal. So anyways, I'm training for High Rocks, and he knows this. So the other day, he's like, hey, man, let's go for... He didn't say, hey, man. He's obviously, hey, daddy. He's like, hey, let's go for... I want to ride my bike, right? And why don't you go for a walk? And I said, perfect. I said, gets me out of the office, right? Gets me with the, nature, fresh air, right? Sounds great, Oakley, right? So we head off. We leave the house. And probably about 5 minutes into it, he just starts taking off on his bike. And I'm like, all right, he's going to turn around eventually, and it's getting to this point where, he's out there. So I'm yelling, Oakley, slow down, stop, right? Nothing, right? This dude is fast and furious, got his little Pokemon helmet on, right? His little training wheels, and he's taking off, okay? So I got to take off now, all right? And it was a full 20, 30 second sprint just to keep up. Because as I'm sprinting, he's continuing to pedal. Right? So finally touch him. I'm like, Smokes, did you hear anything that I said? He said, yeah, I did. But he's like, I wanted you to run and come get me. I said, okay. I said, shoot, I like this. We need more people like this that challenge us and push us outside of our comfort zone, right? And that's exactly what happened. So the whole entire time, we're just doing that. He would take off for about 20, 30 seconds ahead, and I'd sprint, run, tag him, and then catch my breath. And we did the same thing for about 40 minutes. By the time we got back home, I'm dripping in sweat. And it was a challenge, right? And it was something I needed. And I feel like that is the hack that I want to share with you. Now, putting all jokes aside, you don't need to have kids, right? But you could have a coach. You could have a training partner. You could have a spouse, you could have a coworker. You need to have somebody, right, in your corner that's helping you. This whole self-centered thing, lone wolf mentality, it doesn't work, unfortunately. It just doesn't. You're only going to get so far. Eventually you're going to run out of steam. You're going to run out of gas. And having the right support, having the right people in your corner to help you, to challenge you, to also push you outside of your comfort zone, that's when you're actually going to thrive. That's when you're actually going to be better in life. It's because there's no growth inside the comforts, think about it like this. Back in the day, right? You're in recess, at school, and one of your friends says, hey, I double dog dare you. You can't do this, right? Sure enough, you want to prove them wrong. You want to go ahead and do it. It's the same thing now as adults. It's just that we're not really daring, right? Daring other people, hey, I dare you, double dog dare, you can't do this. But it's more so of hey, let's do this together. Hey, I challenge you for this, hey, let's do this for this week. Hey, let's do this for the next 30 days, whatever the case may be, And that's why it's so important. And all jokes aside, yes, it's a hack, but most importantly, it's the foundation. If you actually want to be successful on your health and fitness journey, you need to surround yourself with the right people that's actually going to push you. That's how our coaching program is mainly operated. Is hey, you got your coaches, you got your teammates. You're doing this, right, with all these other guys. Yes, you're on your own journey, right? They're not at your house working out with you or at the gym working out with you and whatever the case. They're not, feeding you and chopping up your steak and chicken, right, and feeding it to you. No, right? Like you're doing that part alone, but where you come together is the community. Whether that's in the community group, whether that's with the chats, our weekly personalized check-ins, whether that's with our, group fitness calls, whatever the case may be. But like you're doing this with other guys because you're always going to need that extra boost, right? That extra push, right? Something that's going to help you step outside of your comfort zone. Because once again, right, if you're all island, all by yourself, you only know what you know. And you can only grow so much if you're so limited, And that's why if you really want to be successful when it comes to becoming the best version of yourself, and what do I mean by that? Well, inside of our coaching program, Heartletics, we talk about 4 categories, right? And these are the essentials of 4 layers, right, of essentially your well-being, which is your physical health, your mental health, your emotional health, and your spiritual health, right? And all these 4 categories, our job is to pour into you, right? If you think about it, like you have a glass, right? A glass of water. And let's just say it's like you're that glass, right? And you are now on an island with your family, okay? Well, the reality is like if you're just this glass with no water in it, you're a liability, you're not an asset. You're nothing more than a paperweight, And like maybe you just need the right people to actually pour into you. That way you can actually become an asset, pour into your family. And that's how our coaching program essentially works. We're giving somebody all the tools, all the skills, the right mindset hacks, the right, workouts, the training. It's all personalized for them, the nutrition, everything to pour into them. So that way they can become better, right? Whether that's having more energy, and playing with their kids, right? Or doing some fun things on the weekends. Whether that's having more confidence to, try out for a fitness event or do something that they always had as their bucket list, whatever the case may be. But it's most importantly also giving you the tools, giving you the knowledge, giving you the skills of learning what actually works best for your body type and also how to maintain that inside of your busy schedule for your lifestyle. I'm sure you heard the phrase before, you can give a man a fish and feed him for a day, or you can teach a man how to fish and feed him for the rest of his life. One time, somebody had to teach you how to drive a car. Somebody had to teach you how to ride a bike. Somebody had to teach you about taxes and all these other things in life, right? Like, what makes your health and fitness journey so much different? Think about that. Like, yeah, YouTube's free. Yeah, AI's free. Yeah, Google, it's all there, right? But why is it that realistically literally over 50% of guys that are over the age of 40 struggle with, being overweight, struggle with having high blood pressure, high cholesterol, type 2 diabetes, right? The reality is like, yes, we have free things, right? But like the accountability piece, the support, the guidance, the actual, hey, we have to put in the work. That free information means nothing, right? Somebody could know the best meal plan in the world. Somebody could know the best workout program in the world to follow. But if they're not actually following through with that nutrition plan, if they're not actually following through and doing those workouts, yeah, it's the best in the world, but like that doesn't change you. You're not going to become the best. You're not going to look different. You're not going to feel different. You're not following the plan. Now, what do you think is going to help somebody follow the plan? Do you think it's like them just taking the steps forward? Yeah, it might, right? But like how often, just be personal and ask this to yourself, how often have you tried following a plan, but then fall off track? What do you think actually helps somebody stay on track and reach their goals and maintain that success? Like what separates the 1% compared to everybody else that's out there? Accountability, support, guidance, having the right people in your corner. Honestly, that's what leads to a lot of our members having success inside of our coaching program, right? That's what helped Chris lose over 25 pounds in 90 days. That's what helped Greg lose over 30 pounds in 90 days. That's what helped Santo lose over 50 pounds in 90 days. That's what helped Jimmy lose over 75 pounds in 90 days. Like the support, the community, the guys that you get to do life with, right? Like, especially as we grow older in life, like think about it. You stop talking too much with your friends because they either get married or you get married or they get a job somewhere, you get a job somewhere, you just kind of fall apart. Like that's just the inevitable what happens, And sure, you can know their, birthdays on Facebook and everything like that and see how they're doing through Instagram, but you're never really communicating or talking too much besides maybe like, hey, how's it going? Or a nice post, right? Like congratulations on their kids graduating, preschool, whatever the case may be. But like, if you think about it, where our coaching program kind of comes in from. It's like, all right, now our guys, they have access to hundreds of guys right there on their mobile phone inside of our community group. They can talk about their workouts. They can talk about life. They can talk about stress. They can talk about nutrition, talk about guidance, talk about help, and just go through life together. And that's what I admire the most about our coaching program is we did our best and we thrived at making sure that this is a safe place where guys are going in there talking about stuff that, hey, they don't want to be judged on Facebook or Instagram about, or it's something personal, right? They want to talk about something. They can trust these group of guys, or, they're asking for some prayer requests, something like that, where they know, hey, it's a safe place. They can ask anything. There's a no judgment zone, So who knows? Just let that kind of sink in, once again, like going back to how this whole conversation started, the secret hack to losing more fat, to building more muscle, to having more energy and confidence, have some kids. Get them to work out, right? But let me just say this real quick. You first got to lead by action, right? Don't think you're going to start popping out kids and they're going to be all automatically, right? Like doing push-ups and sit-ups. It's going to have to start with you first, right? But the cool thing is that when it does start with you, you can then fill up somebody else, right? And pour into them, right? Not be a phone with 0% battery. Once again, it's a paperweight. You can actually pour into somebody else. And when you get the right people to pour into you and challenge you and help you step outside of your comfort zone, tell you what, that's when you really level up in life, and not just physically, but also mentally as well. So if you guys need any help on your own health and fitness journey, if you're watching this on YouTube, there are 2 links down below. The first one is a free 90-day fat loss plan. There's workouts, nutrition tips in there. Really, really good guide, a step-by-step plan, how to lose anywhere from 20 to 50 pounds of fat all within the next 90 days. And the second link is to schedule a free strategy call. Talk with somebody from my team, talk with either myself, just kind of going over your own health and fitness goals, getting some more personal tips that's actually going to help you for your body type, your busy schedule and your lifestyle. That's a free strategy call, and that's the second link down below. As always, guys, this has been Joe Callari with heartletics.com, and I will talk to you in the next episode. Peace out, Girl Scouts.